Today, take a deep dive into what happens to your body if you stop eating processed foods for 30 days. I've been talking about cutting out processed foods in my videos for a while now, but I haven't done any videos specifically on this topic. So in today's video, I am going to explain exactly what will happen to your body if you cut out all processed foods for 30 days. First, let's define our terms. Processed food is defined as a food that has undergone some form of alteration from its original state. This could be something simple like chopping up a carrot or freezing a salmon fillet, or it could be something more complex like turning corn into corn syrup or combining hundreds of ingredients to make potato chips. The key takeaway is that all food is processed to some degree. Even the most pristine chicken breast or head of cauliflower has been processed by someone somewhere along the food supply chain. So, when we say stop eating processed foods, we are referring to the type of processed foods that most people eat unknowingly, which includes ultra-processed foods, which have been stripped of their nutrients and loaded with excess sugars, salts, and fats. When you choose to stop eating these types of processed foods for 30 days, a cascade of positive changes begins to occur throughout your entire body. Let's start with the most obvious changes and work our way inwards. The first change that you'll likely notice is an increase in energy levels. When you cut out processed foods, you're simultaneously cutting out added sugars. Sugar provides a quick burst of energy followed by a crash. And since processed foods are loaded with sugar, they can leave you feeling sluggish and fatigued within an hour or two of consuming them. On the flip side, when you stop eating these foods, your body no longer has to deal with the constant blood sugar spikes and crashes. Instead, you'll feel sustained energy throughout the day. In addition to increasing your energy, cutting out processed foods can also improve your sleep quality. Processed foods contain high levels of sugar, fat, and salt, which can disrupt the delicate balance of hormones that regulate your sleep-wake cycle. By removing these foods from your diet, your internal clock will have a chance to reset, leading to better sleep. Next, you'll notice an improvement in your mood. Studies show that eating a diet high in processed foods is associated with an increased risk of depression and other mood disorders. One reason for this is that processed foods cause your blood sugar levels to fluctuate wildly, which can affect the production of neurotransmitters such as serotonin, which regulates mood. Another reason is that many processed foods contain unhealthy fats that have been linked to inflammation in the brain. By eliminating processed foods from your diet, you remove these triggers and give your brain a chance to heal and function optimally. Moving on to the digestive system, you'll experience a decrease in bloating and other digestive issues. Processed foods often contain ingredients that are difficult to digest, such as artificial fibers and chemicals. These ingredients can wreak havoc on your digestive system, leaving you feeling bloated and uncomfortable. Additionally, many processed foods lack the fiber necessary for healthy digestion. When you stop eating these foods, your body will have a chance to adjust and function optimally. Many people report feeling lighter and more comfortable after just a few days of cutting out processed foods. Now, let's move on to the cardiovascular system. You'll see a decrease in blood pressure and heart rate. Studies show that eating a diet high in processed foods is associated with an increased risk of heart disease and stroke. One reason for this is that processed foods are often high in sodium, which can raise blood pressure. Another reason is that processed foods typically contain unhealthy fats that contribute to plaque buildup in the arteries. By eliminating processed foods from your diet, you remove these risk factors and give your cardiovascular system a chance to heal and function optimally. Speaking of the cardiovascular system, next we have the skin. you'll notice an improvement in skin health. Processed foods can cause inflammation throughout the body, including the skin. This can lead to acne, eczema, and other skin problems. When you cut out processed foods, you reduce inflammation and give your skin a chance to heal. Many people report an improvement in skin health after just a few weeks of avoiding processed foods. Another great benefit of cutting out processed foods is weight loss. Most processed foods are calorie-dense, meaning that they pack a lot of calories into a small package. This makes it easy to overeat without realizing it. In addition, processed foods often trigger overeating by causing blood sugar spikes and crashes. When you eat a meal containing processed foods, your body quickly digests the carbohydrates and sends them to your bloodstream as glucose. This causes your blood sugar levels to spike, which stimulates the release of insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps your body use glucose for energy. However, when there's too much insulin in your bloodstream, your body will store the excess glucose as fat. This process can lead to weight gain over time. By cutting out processed foods from your diet, you avoid these blood sugar spikes and crashes and give your body a chance to burn fat for energy. According to a study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, cutting out ultra-processed foods leads to an average weight loss of 6 pounds over 8 weeks. Alright, so those were some of the more obvious benefits of cutting out processed foods. Now let's take a look at some of the less obvious benefits. First, we have brain health. As I mentioned earlier, eating a diet high in processed foods is associated with an increased risk of cognitive decline and dementia. One reason for this is that processed foods cause oxidative stress in the brain, which damages brain cells and impairs cognitive function. Another reason is that many processed foods contain trans fats, which have been shown to reduce the amount of oxygen in the blood, leading to poor brain function. By eliminating processed foods from your diet, you reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain, giving it a chance to heal and function optimally. Next, we have the immune system. A study published in the journal BMJ Nutrition Prevention and Health found that eating a diet high in processed meat is associated with an increased risk of certain cancers, including colorectal cancer. One reason for this is that processed meats contain nitrates and nitrites, which have been shown to promote the growth of cancer cells. Another reason is that processed meats often contain polycyclic hydrocarbons, which damage DNA and lead to mutations that can cause cancer. By eliminating processed foods from your diet, you reduce your risk of developing cancer and other diseases. Last, but certainly not least, we have longevity. Studies show that eating a diet high in processed foods is associated with an increased risk of all-cause mortality. In other words, eating a diet high in processed foods can shorten your lifespan. One reason for this is that processed foods cause chronic inflammation in the body, which accelerates aging and increases the risk of age-related diseases. Another reason is that many processed foods contain endocrine disruptors, which interfere with the body's hormonal balance and lead to a variety of health problems, including reduced fertility, obesity, and diabetes. By cutting out processed foods, you reduce inflammation and give your body a chance to live longer and healthier lives. So those are just a few of the things that will happen to your body if you stop eating processed foods for 30 days. As you can see, cutting out processed foods can have a profound impact on your health and well-being. If you're thinking about giving it a try, I highly recommend checking out some resources for more information and support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.